Hello Glendale, I'm Meg Keller.
And I'm Luke Miller. You're watching the second episode of the Glendale 411.
This year, Glendale has a new assistant principal and athletic director.
Emerald Davis and Amanda Zimmerman have the story.
The new athletic director and assistant principal is welcomed as he makes his move from Lee Summit, Missouri to Glendale High School.
I've been in high school administrator for the last 10 years in Lee Summit. It's up by Kansas City. Prior to that, I was a social studies teacher at the high school level. And I also coached football and track.
I heard that Mr. Peiser had some administrative experience, that he was really good in working with kids, that he had a great sense of humor, and he had the right background in both teaching and coaching that made him a really good candidate for the athletic director position here at Glendale.
One of the first students that I ever met with here was Cole Phillips. He came and introduced himself. He knew he had a new guy to work with, so I think he wanted to make sure that started off on the right foot and that we would get to know each other, and he knew that he probably understood that he would need my support in some capacity, and I certainly need his.
I talked to Mr. Peiser a lot about what he wants to go on at games, and we kind of interact with things that he wants to happen at games and things that he'd like to change and things that I'd like to change, and we work together closely on that.
Because this first year is really all about learning about Glendale, learning about this part of Springfield and what students like and what teachers like and what traditions there are. There is a lot of awesome things going on here at Glendale that I wouldn't dare try to change. Say that sports are more intense down here, but they're more ingrained in the lifeblood of the community around this, not just in Springfield, but this Ozark area. I want to make sure that every sport gets the same amount of exposure and attention that the kids work so hard to do, whether it's a huge program like football has lots of kids out, or cross country has a small group of kids that are out, that they all work just the same. They all work hard, so that they all deserve equal amount of support from me.
I think what's different about Glendale High School is that, we have a lot of students that are involved in sports. We have awesome students here at Glendale, and I know that they will welcome Mr. Peiser with open arms.
In addition to the students, parents, staff members have really made me feel welcome. They're very supportive, and it's really helped the transition from making a pretty big move across the state, basically, to a new job. So I want to say thank you for everybody making that transition much smoother.
Get up out of your desk and get a hands-on education at the OTC Career Center for high school juniors and seniors. There are 19 career paths to choose from, and it's free. Students earn college credit, and they're prepared to get a job when they graduate. A hands-on education that helps you get a job or a jump start on college is what makes the OTC Career Center a unique high school experience. Talk to your high school counselor or visit otc.edu/career center to learn more.
Teenage hunger is on the rise.
Meg Keller and Caitlin West report on how it affects the Ozarks.
Hunger Action Month is a national campaign that started by Feeding America, which is a national organization that our food bank is a part of. And it's basically a month where we have a lot of really fun events going on, and we're really trying to raise money and awareness about the 1 in 4 kids in the Ozarks who are hungry and the 1 in 6 individuals who are hungry.
The food pantry was started about 4 years ago, I believe, just by an effort from the past CSI to try to make everybody aware of the need. It's used much more often than most of our students realize.
$985, we are down to... These are kids that are going to school with your kids.
Hungerthon, it's an event that we do with Kevin and Liz with KGBX, and it's a really fun 4-day event. They've been doing it for 18 years, and We always raise a lot of money with the event. This year we raised over $140,000 with it, and it's basically a radiothon where we have Kevin and Liz talk a lot about hunger in the Ozarks, especially with kids, and it benefits our backpack program directly, which is for kids to take home a backpack over the weekend when they might otherwise go hungry, because during the week, you know, they're getting the free and reduced lunch and they're getting free breakfast, so the weekend is whenever they're really going hungry.
So yeah, the Kevin and Liz show involved in Hungerthon, like I said, 18 years, and we did the very first one. We didn't know what to expect. There we were on our sister station at the time, 95.5 now. We've done it 2 years at KGBX, 105.9. We concentrate during Hungerthon on kids who get a meal at school 5 days a week, but then a lot of times these kids, 1 out of 4 of them, are going to go home, not have anything to eat on the weekends. So what we do is raise money so that they can put the food in the backpacks that the kids will take home on Friday so that they'll have something to eat on the weekend.
You'll have somebody who's in a home where they've become displaced. You know, parents lost their job, parent left, and the other one is not working, and they can't afford to feed their kids 3 times a day. And so they can eat here twice, but they need to leave with something.
Something like almost 1,700 kids that utilize that program, you know, every single week. You know, and Ozark's Food Harvest is an unbelievably efficient, you know, nonprofit. I mean, 94 to 96 cents out of every dollar is going right to the food. So they don't use a lot of the money for overhead. The money goes directly to the food that needs to be bought so that the food goes in those backpacks and the kids can take them home.
So it's $300 to put a child through the backpack program for an entire year. And we sponsored a lot of kids this year. Over 415 kids was our goal, and we met that by over, I think, 52 extra kids this year.
If a kid comes to school hungry, they're not thinking about, you know, math. They don't want it. That's the last thing they want to think. They're thinking about, what am I going to eat at lunch? So, you know, it benefits the kids obviously in the short term that way, and in the long term, you know, it allows these kids to live a normal life, get the nutrition they need to grow so that they can learn and maybe go on and go to college, hopefully.
You know, if there's kids and people struggling in our community, it really can bring us down as a whole, because whenever people aren't healthy and have food, you know, everyone's affected by it.
Maker Faire describes itself as part county fair, part science fair, and part something entirely new.
Michaela Injemy and McGuire Stroud visit Springfield's very own.
The Ozark Mini Maker Faire came to the Springfield Expo Center. We talked to Betsy Canella, an engineering teacher at Glendale, why she and the robotics team came to the fair, why others should come too, and the possibilities for the future.
I think those who haven't been here before will always learn something new from every booth. To see what Springfield has, or the people around, the communities around Springfield have to offer as far as technology and either just things that they can do at home or at work or in the classroom, and other ways in which they can get involved in these certain areas.
Maker Faire started basically at the very beginning in 2009 in the Bay Area of California. That was the very first one, and it was started because the man that invented Make Magazine decided he wanted a platform for all these cool makers to be able to showcase what they do. So then he started that, and that was the first one. Well, now they have about 150,000 people that attend their event. Oh, the booths that we have here are so eclectic. We've got people that do quilting, we've got people that do sustainable foods and make their own canning goods. We've got people that have 3D printers, and what's cool is that everybody that has a 3D printer here is doing something different with it, which is fascinating.
We help people with their 3D printing purchases. We help people with especially training how to use 3D printers, and then we also help people with support who already have 3D printers. With STEM, technology isn't just its own subject anymore. It's not something that you don't just go to a computer lab class anymore. You now have computers integrated in everything. So 3D printing is the same way that coding can be integrated into any subject, so can 3D printing. It can be used with history to be able to interpret map data. It can be used In social studies, to be able to work with learning about Egyptian hieroglyphics, you can 3D print like the hieroglyphics. You can use science to be able to do like 3D printed models and structures of DNA molecules. If you're doing it with like English or reading, you can learn about like famous authors and things like recreating the Ford Theater and like the sound quality of the Ford Theater and why they made it the way that they made it. And you could 3D design and 3D print it.
I like to see that the kids don't realize they're learning. At least my aerospace class, it's like recess every day. They constantly ask, can we do this, can we do that? And they're learning the entire time that they're having fun and flying planes or even doing math, doing the calculations to figure out why things fly was fun for them. I think that we need to show off our smarts. I think that we have so many amazing things happening at Glendale, and I think this is just one avenue to show off who we are and the things that we can do. And there's a lot of cool programs, and this is just one of them.
Don't wait. Deadlines are sooner than they appear. Senior ads and quotes are due by October 28th. Buy your yearbook now. The longer you wait, the more it costs.
Lindberghs is a historic tavern in downtown Springfield.
Angela Duran and I have the story. Located on Commercial Street, Lindberghs is a restaurant and tavern with a unique history.
We try and change people's expectations of what they see as bar food or pub food. A lot of it is just people owning a restaurant that throw stuff in a fryer and then it comes out and okay, you can get that anywhere else because they bought it from some packaging company.
The coolest part about working here so far is seeing what Commercial Street has really become. I remember when I came down here about 10 years ago, I attended MSU, and during orientation, one of the things they told us was don't even come up to Commercial Street. There's no reason to, just stay away from it.
We're primarily a live music venue, so depending on who's playing, our crowd kind of adapts to that. We get a wide demographic, from 21 years old up to 60 and 70-year-olds come in here.
The neatest part is just meeting the people that are in the bands. Because we have shows, from Americana to jazz to folk to rock to heavy metal. And it's just neat just seeing the different people that belong to these type bands and their attitudes and their culture and their lifestyle. Most of the time, too, we try to stick with local Springfield bands, but every now and then we'll get out of town, and that's just cool, too, meeting the people and talking to them about traveling, just the different states they've been to and the music they play.
The building itself was built right around 1880 when the railroad came through North Springfield. That's why there's Division Street. There was Old Springfield and there was New Springfield that came through with the railroad. Lindberghs was a part of that economic boom around that time. The room we're in now used to be a brothel. The city records list Lindberghs, this building, as a house of ill repute, and that was during the 1880s time when Springfield still had a Wild West kind of feel to it. The bar itself downstairs, the big wooden structure you see, showed up probably in the late 1890s to 1905. There's a lot of speculation on where it exactly came from. We actually put a restaurant back into Lindberghs, which took a lot of time and money, but we finally got it up.
It's bar food, but it's not your run-of-the-mill bar food. Like, for example, every month we try and do a feature an exotic meat.
We make our own fries. We have a guy that comes in at 10 o'clock at night and leaves at 3 in the morning. Every night we make our own fresh fries. We make our own ketchup. We make our own mustard. So you really get more of an identity here than you would anywhere else. You can't go anywhere else and get Table Rock Red ketchup. You can't get Little Helper mustard. You can't get our fries anywhere. So we've really tried to make everything from scratch and create our own identity.
We've done the Dubliner, we actually won 417 Burger Wars this year with. And as of right now, our exotic meat selection is an alligator burger.
All the the landscaping, the trees, the flowers everywhere down here, just the overall camaraderie with the local business owners. If you haven't been down here, come down here and check it out.
Get up to Lindberghs, see Commercial Street, not just Lindberghs, but Commercial Street as a whole, see what's happening, get involved, and come try our exotic meat selection.
Thanks for watching the Glendale 411.
Don't forget to subscribe and check out our channel for more content.
Signing out, I'm Meg Keller.
And I'm Luke Miller.